I am so thankful for StreamYard.
I love StreamYard.
I'm thankful for StreamYard.
I love StreamYard.
I am super thankful for StreamYard.
A lot of people would make the argument that one of the greatest things about the movement of number one, I don't know why we still call it a movement. We were calling it that back in the 60s, but I'm just going to go with it, not even going to get off on that tangent. People would say the greatest thing about what happened in 2020 with BLM and the George Floyd protests, Breonna Taylor protests, and Ahmaud Arbery, and I can go on and on and on naming the names, was that there was no leaders. And that's what made it beautiful. But at the same time of that being the most beautiful thing about it across the country and across the world, I would argue and venture to say that's also our Achilles heel in some sense, is because we don't have a leader, and there were multiple leaders back in the during the civil rights movement and things like that. We had King, we had Stokely Carmichael, we had Malcolm X, and all the brothers of and sisters of SNCC, the Black Panthers. I can go on and on and on naming all these names. So it just wasn't like one person that you or one leadership style that you had the choice to follow. You can follow any of these different leaders that you so chose, but because there's no leadership or no one for us to, I don't want to say follow, but there's no one for us to model. Like, for example, we were just talking about Amber. The beautiful thing about Amber is we can model her style. We didn't need to rush out and be in the front like so many people do, and like so many people have done, and we saw it all throughout the summer last year. Even when Casey and Andre got killed, we saw people just out there for the cameras. And then when the cameras left, they weren't out there anymore. We saw it repeated again when Micaiah was taken from us, Miles Jackson.
I think
what's on your mind?
I think for real, like how you said it was beautiful. We ain't had no leaders, but now that we seeing the fruits of not having no leaders. When you brought up all them names like SNCC and Malcolm X and all them, when they was out in the streets, they had legislation or they had something to back that up. We didn't have that. We had leaders, we would have had that. That's the only thing that we was missing from that. So that's why nothing came about that. Matter of fact, things did come about of it, and it became detrimental to protest. And they came out with protester laws. They do all types of shit to us. So it was a good thing, half 50-50, bad thing, 50-50. What can I say?
First of all, as far as leadership, there's many different qualities of leadership. There definitely is. But one of the most important qualities of leadership is being able to unite people. Remember you waving that Black Lives Matter flag proud and high and carrying it, and you would not drop that flag. I know how hard carrying a flag can be, especially for as long as you was doing it and keeping it up. That's leadership.
Leaders will allow room for other leaders to pop up as well.
Yes.
It's not just room for me. I'm going to be the one. And it's like you need to be able to open up the door and accept and collaborate with people who may operate differently than you, but operate within the same realm and for the same goal.
Moments when it came to y'all was Micaiah Bryant. It was in April. We had so much hostility from group to group, activist to activist. And in April, everybody gathered downtown. Malia called me and she told me how beautiful it was that everybody was working together. Everybody was talking together. The microphone was being passed. Everybody got to speak their piece. And this was the first night ever within the last year that it had been this strong. And I felt so good when she hung up that phone. And from that point, From that point, I continued watching the live videos because I was keeping tabs on everybody that night. And from that point, another leader made it their mission to open the doors of CPD headquarters after the cops had locked it with handcuffs. That leader then wanted everybody to invade CPD headquarters. And where I saw leadership stand up, one, Malia, and now DeJuan's gone, but y'all decided to tell your peoples we're not going in there.
Too many chiefs, but the only reason that too many chiefs would be a problem is if those chiefs can't collaborate with each other. I think a lot of chiefs is a good thing.